Dude, how you doing?
Hey, I'm excited to be here, man. This is awesome, man.
Dude, fuck yeah, guys. Hey, what's up? Welcome to fucking, I don't know, episode 11, I guess. Of Help I'm High and Cant. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it. But
Close enough.
Yeah. But so episode 11, Jesse Pimpinella in the house.
What's up?
Fucking #1 Amazon special of all time. Above Dave Chappelle. Right beside Bo Burnham. Joe Rogan called Jesse Pimpinella and he said, Jesse, how do you get good shit on Amazon? How long did it take you to do that special?
Okay, so it was a process. And every good process starts with this phrase: "Fuck it, I'll do it myself." And that's the biggest thing. Don't wait for somebody to tell you. So a buddy of mine, Matt Onesti, and Harrison Poole. Harrison Poole was my director. Matt Onesti is producer. We're all good friends.
Okay.
We did a back-to-back filming comedy special in one night, and we pulled together the money we needed to get a camera crew, camera crew, audio crew. We talked with the Funny Farm that they're in Youngstown. Right below their floor is this giant area that we asked if we can use, and we turned that whole thing into a showroom for one night only.
Wow.
And we filmed 2 shows, Matt's segment, my segment, then we did it again later on, and it was packed. We did radio, we did sponsorships, we did everything. We came up with a budget to make this happen.
Sold out?
It sold out twice. So it sold out. First show sold out. The second show sold out twice because what happened was we had people around the block, and me and Matt were like, we're not going to turn people away. So we got me, and I'm on this level. They're like, you stay in the green room. I'm like, I'm not staying in a green room. I'm going to find some chairs. So everybody's grabbing chairs from all over the building, like the old grandparent wooden chairs, the rocking chairs and everything,
Dang.
putting them in the back so everybody could join. I didn't want to turn anybody away. The first show was rocking. I don't want to turn them away. So, and both shows went off without a hitch. It was perfect. And then COVID hit. And then that was the hard part because we couldn't meet to all sit in a room and edit this properly.
Shoot.
Yes.
So, really quick, because I've actually always been curious about the whole special process. So you record both nights, and then, obviously it's like as close to the same set as possible, you know what I mean? Maybe with some subtle word changes or something, but you just take the best parts from each show?
Good question. So essentially you film 2 shows back to back on the same night. Okay. And the reason why you do that is because everybody knows with comedy, some jokes are going to hit differently with different audiences. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
All right. And a comedy special is the best representation of that. In my case, I scored it heavily on the first run. And then on the second show was great, but then I was telling myself, so the last were equal, but here's what it came down to. The second show, I had quicker setups. So it came down to me loving all the parts that weren't supposed to be funny, the setups. So in the first show, I'm getting big laughs, but a setup might be 15 to 20. But then I noticed in the second show, all my setups were 10 to 15. So I was like, so keep everything in the same show, but change the setups. Change it so I can get to there quicker and faster. So it was weird. When you do a comedy special, it's obviously funny. Because you did it in front of a live audience. You'll know if it's not funny. But the biggest process will come with all the non-funny things. The setups, angles, camera angles. Because we had a 6-camera setup that night.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. We went all out.
Dang.
And we broke even on that night. So that was perfect. So then anything we sold, our first album made money immediately versus having to recoup everything.
Hell yeah, dude. That's amazing.
So it was good. I hope I answered the question properly. So yeah, you get those videos and you're doing the same set essentially, and then you tie it together.
So you said that you preferred the shorter setups, correct?
Correct.
So did you use most of that one then?
So of the second show, I used only the setups.
Whoa.
And then for the first show, the laughs were perfect. The laughs were exactly what I needed. I mean, don't get me wrong. The second show had great laughs. But what happened was in the second show was there was a little bit of crowd work needed to be done because this was 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. People were getting a little drunk, getting a little bit crazy. So I could not do a traditional set. And my traditional punchlines were more geared towards you being in the room rather than watching it. Because that's the one thing I was very adamant about during the editing process. I want to make something that not only was enjoyable to be at, but to watch later on. Because if you were seeing because here's the thing, I'm not going to say the comedian's name because I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying anything derogatory towards him. I saw a show live.
Okay.
And it was hilarious. It was great. And then months later, I see it on Netflix, right? And it didn't have that same energy.
Was it the same show that you watched?
Same show exactly.
Oh, wow.
Same show exactly. He was filming it. He was doing stuff on the road to get it ready.
Was he?
And then,
is it the guy who got like his first Netflix special?
No.
Oh, okay.
Somebody who's had numerous specials.
Oh, okay.
But it was just because the special didn't catch the energy of that room. So in that second show, it was a great show, but the problem was it was more geared towards not I want to say too much crowd work, but towards the audience. And if you're not there in the audience, you're going to have a disconnect. Yeah. And that's the last thing you want. It has to be
like extra funny. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
In order for like the audience at home to be like, oh, that's hilarious. You know what I mean? Because like I always feel like I'm watching like one of my favorite crowd work guys is Andrew Schultz.
Oh, brilliant.
Dude, murderer.
He is one of the best ones out there right now. He is one of the best ones. But great example, that crowd work special, that was great because everything was, so to speak, non-specific to that room. That was my issue. I was specific to that room because when you tour long enough, you know a city very well.
Yeah.
So those jokes are killing there. But I'm thinking somebody in Seattle is going to be like, what?
Yeah.
You know? So that happens. But great.
How long do you do comedy before you decide I have a special?
That is a really good question. So there isn't. Here's the thing. The first thing is what makes a comic great before they even do a special. You know, because here's the thing. I tried to shoot one when I wasn't great, and
really?
Yeah. Oh God, what a fail.
Really? How many years in?
5 years because I was amazing, and I was like, why wasn't Comedy Central calling me,
dude?
I was like, they're not calling me. I'm amazing. I'm killing it at these dive bars.
Dang, that's crazy.
So I was arrogant, you know what I mean? And I filmed it, and it wasn't good. It was embarrassing. It was horrible. It was and I filmed it in a really cool place. There's a place in Youngstown called the Merry-Go-Round Bar.
Okay.
And that was where Ella Fitzgerald had her wedding reception with the Rat Pack there. Because you got to keep in mind, back then Youngstown was, it was between Chicago and New York and Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So it was this back in the 40s and 50s, it was mob central. That was the place for mobs. Let me give you an idea of how mob-related Youngstown is. At the end of the movie Goodfellas, when Henry Hill's picking up the newspaper, that's my hometown's newspaper he's picking up. It was a nod to the Vindicator, which is Youngstown's newspaper. So that just to give you an idea of...
Do you have mob in your family?
No.
You didn't say we can talk about that. You have. Here's Pimpinella sounds like a fucking like. Oh shit, Jesse Pimpinella, he's gonna come. He's gonna fucking shoot me. He's gonna fucking shoot me.
So here's the thing. I've experienced weird things I should not have experienced as a kid. All right, I'm gonna say that right now. Like I got grandma.
That's like the norm nowadays.
My grandmother's like, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some bread." We park behind a factory, and she has a box of clothes. That's all it is, just a box of old clothes. And then she walks out with fresh loaf breads, and they're still warm from the oven.
Dude.
And that's how we got bread. And I'm like, what? Yeah. No, literally, my Italian family is nuts.
That's so funny.
Here's one that doesn't really messed up.
What's up?
Okay, so my grandfather, when he grew up in Italy, and this is before Benito Mussolini was the dictator. Okay, And he was great until Hitler got influence on him. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like loving Anakin Skywalker and then hating Darth Vader, essentially, when you talk about Mussolini.
Shoot.
Right? So, like, my grandfather was like, because when he was a kid, Mussolini did everything for him. But then I was thinking, I didn't know who Mussolini was. My grandfather was talking about Mussolini all the time. Like, Mussolini's great. Mussolini's great. How do you think Santa Claus gets around the world in one day? Mussolini. Every single time. Mussolini. And then because my grandfather, he didn't know like lullabies when I was a kid. I didn't realize what he was singing to me until recently. It was the propaganda songs. Benito e Mussolini, like I was like, what is going? So
that's so funny.
Anytime do you know how crushed I was when I went to history class in 4th grade and found out who he was? They're like, yeah, he assisted Hitler. I'm like, no, he helped Santa Claus.
It's like that.
He helped Santa Claus. I'm like crying my eyes out. Santa Claus isn't real. What? Santa real.
So what was Mussolini doing?
What was Mussolini doing?
That was, all that missing time.
And then I go to my grandfather. He's like,
There you
look,
go.
he was great before the Hitler stuff.
Dude,
it's like loving O.J. Simpson for his football career and Naked Gun. But then it's like, that trial stuff, that's bad, obviously.
It is kind of funny how people fall off a little bit, sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes they go a little off the rails. Like,
they start great.
Yeah.
They start great. Like, to me, that was like...
Soviet Russia started off pretty great, too, didn't it? They had great schools, and then people just started dying. It was like, what's happening?
Stalin's out there like he sneezed.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, I remember hearing stories about like the dictators that like would have like, or like kings of like, ancient Africa or whatever, that would like, they would do those things where they would have the people stand and clap or whatever. And then if they stopped or sat down, then they would dead.
Oh, dude.
That shit's nuts.
Yeah, it's but that like my Italian family is nuts in that aspect. But I think I derailed the entire question you asked me. You were like, when are you ready for the special?
When
so
is he ready?
That
was my fault,
dude. No, I have the worst. I actually do have ADD, so it's like, dude, I got a coupon for it. I got a receipt.
I was gonna say, I feel like I follow pretty well, and I can like, a lot of times like people are like, oh shit, what were we talking about? And I'm like, well, this is what you were saying. And I'm like, oh hell yeah. So anyways, I say it takes 10 good years to make you into a good comic. It takes 10 good years because, that's the number that a lot of headliners have said to me. Yeah.
Because, the first 2-3 years, you're figuring out how to operate on stage. And then 3 to 5, you're learning how to, find your voice. And now that's the tough part, the voice.
Yeah.
Who you are on stage is so important.
I'm still searching.
I'm
still searching.
It took me time. For me, I always say that it's like TV reception. I finally got the rabbit ears in the right spot. I'm starting to hear what I sound like. And I think I have it now, but it's like but because you're always growing, then you always discover something new, a new facet, a new whatever it might be. But yeah, because then once you have your voice, it's then you learning how to use it, how to portray it on stage, how to be yourself, not ask for permission on stage. When I mean permission, a lot of times people will do a joke and they'll look at the audience like, did I get it? And so you don't want that. Yeah.
me.
Yeah. No, not so much. When I saw you at Trunken Head last time, it was where we had the birthday girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You didn't ask for permission. You went.
I went straight in. You
went straight in. Yeah.
Pull a Donald Trump. Just. He's like okay. He's like, we're just gonna have to pull this episode.
I'm out.
That's funny.
Oh my god. So, anyways, but yeah. So, like, once you get to 10 years and you have material that kills. When I mean kills, I mean like every joke is old reliable. You could do your act forwards and backwards. You could do your last joke first and your first joke last, and do your act every other possible way. Knowing to a 95% chance you're going to get a laugh.
Okay.
When you get there, that's when you start thinking, okay, this might be it. This might be it. And that's what me and my friends were like. You know, we weren't going to wait around. And we decided just to do it. We pulled together a budget. My one buddy was in college at the time. So that's where we got a lot of expensive equipment, camera equipment stuff. We rented out over 20 grand of expensive equipment for free because he was a film student.
Dude.
So this is a little tip right there. You want good equipment.
Hang out with film students,
Film students are great.
Dude.
And he directed the whole thing. It was incredible. Harrison, he was my buddy. I have him, Matt, heavily to thank for that. But yeah, so we filmed it, and then we had to get in. Like I said, we hired people, the camera crew. We had two cameras here, two cameras there, one all the way in the back, and then we had one that went through the audience. Somebody was just filming, so you can get audience reactions. And we were mic'd, so I had a mic right here on me, so in case my mic died, it was still going to pick me up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and we had a stage. We put it all together, and like I said, it was a perfect night. It was a perfect night. The hard part was done, getting the good footage. That's the hardest part. Then it came to editing, and then we had to do a lot of like Skype stuff, or Zoom now.
Yeah.
And it was very slow, so I had to be like, all right, I like this, I like that. Some jokes remove because they're non sequiturs. They're just more room related rather than they are special related.
So how much time did you do, and how much time is the special?
I did it to 45 minutes. And I cut it to 30. And the reason why I cut it to 30 was basically what Andrew Schultz said, something he said. When Andrew Schultz was getting rejected from other platforms at one point, he asked his friends, like, where do you watch comedy? Oh, I watch it online. Okay, how much do you watch the whole special? And they're like, no, I only have time for like maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. And then Andrew Schultz was like, So that's why a lot of his things are not too long.
Yeah.
Because he's catering to a specific audience and scoring big with that.
Yeah.
So like some of the material that I didn't use, I'm just putting it on the next special with the newer material.
Oh, hell yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong. I mean, hours are great. Hours good. But I just found, I'm like, I'd rather people watch the whole thing than have somebody only watch a half hour because they didn't have time to watch the second half hour. Because, I mean, I don't know. I want a certain, like, they watch the whole thing.
I'm a little salty because at first I didn't know that you had like video of it.
Yeah.
And so I got it on like Amazon, and then I went to go listen to it, and I like wasn't able to like fuck with my phone when I was listening to it, and so it didn't play it in order. It played it like all over the place.
Yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get you the special.
I have the special.
You have it.
I have it.
Thank
it just
you.
played in different. Like I have like
the video.
No, I don't have the video.
I'll give you the video. Oh. I'll give you the video. I'll give you the video so you can look at it. Yeah.
But you guys should definitely check out the special. Yeah. It's like even the audio version is fucking hilarious. Like I was still laughing.
Thank you.
Big Kahuna.
Kahuna.
That's you, right?
Yeah.
Big Kahuna.
Big Kahuna. You're the big. Yeah. Truth, that happened when I was doing show Good Mess. That really did happen. I think I said con, like something like that. Like I slurred my word, and that's why it sounded like that to somebody. I was like, you know, I talk quickly, and sometimes a word mixes in with another word. But yeah, that was a really fun night. That was a fun day. But so anyway, so going back to what I was saying, so editing it, we edited it together, and then getting it to the platform was hard. It was not easy. Because then we came down, we wanted to put it on Amazon, put the video on Amazon Prime as well. However, there was an issue with that because this was during a time where a lot of fake documentaries were coming out with fake information and all that stuff. Like you even saw when Borat, that movie came out, they also had a bunch of like debunking specials at the same time that came out. So what was happening was the system for people like me to put my stuff in. See, even though I'm not mine's not a documentary, it falls under that because it's like a live performance documentary. It's a mesh of
commentary.
Yeah. So because they were getting overloaded with such fake material, they shut the
videos,
the channel way. They shut it down.
Wow.
So and here's the worst part: anything that was in the pipe, ready to be looked at, even if it hasn't been looked at. They were like
wiped
nope.
it.
They said no to it, and you're not allowed to resubmit. So and this was happening to a lot of people. Like there was a lot of people in Hollywood and stuff like that. They were getting their stuff taken down from Amazon randomly, and Amazon's like, well, in big Hollywood movies, not just small, big ones. And they're like, yeah, we can't have you on here anymore. And Spotify recently did that with a lot of comedy albums. I'm not sure if you saw that.
Yeah. I've heard a lot about that, and I don't know what's going on with that. I know that Lewis Black came out and said something because he's still on there, and he was saying something about just pay people their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Spotify guy, look at it like this. This guy has more money than Paul McCartney, and he hasn't wrote a song ever in his life.
Yeah, well, and here's
You know what I mean?
here's the deal. It's like, how many actual artists are on Spotify? You know what I mean? Like a contract with Spotify.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because it's like I feel like there's probably not that many. You know what I mean? Like of people who actually have a contract. When we actually look at the numbers, why aren't they getting paid? You can give Joe Rogan, $300 million. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he's not worth $300 million, but what I'm also saying is that, some other people might also be worth, at least $1 million. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
And again, that goes into a whole debate on what people are worth and what people are paid.
Exactly.
And the thing is, comedy especially is always a risk because in the sense that comedy in the entertainment business is sometimes the pissing post. It's ridiculously hard to do stand-up and do what we do. But it's the one thing where people go, yeah, I can do that. I can go on stage and tell jokes. No one ever watches an NFL play and go, I could do that.
Yeah,
no one ever does.
My friend, he was telling me that he's seen people do karaoke and he's seen people do comedy. And he says that he would feel more comfortable singing a song, but he says that he thinks that he would feel better about doing comedy if he was going to
I'd rather do karaoke. I'm a stand-up, I'd rather do karaoke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's karaoke, there's no, it's expected to be bad.
Expected, yes.
You know what I mean? So it's no one's going up. That was one thing when I was in theater. I met this whole group of friends it was a whole totally new way of looking at karaoke because they went to karaoke to shit on people. It was they went up there to actually sing and do really well, and I was like, this is a little weird. You know what I mean?
They're just. It's like a bunch of.
They're we were such losers growing up, so now we're gonna prove that we're not losers by singing really good at a karaoke bar, cash only.
It's like an NFL player showing up to a Pee Wee football
team,
dude, and sending them all to the hospital.
Yeah, dude.
I own you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I own you. I'm gonna go bang your mother now. She's single.
Yeah, dude.
Goes off.
Dude,
sends the clip of him. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, man. It's insane, man. How crazy they were. And it is nuts how I try to talk people to go on stage often, the ones that I think are funny.
Yeah.
I'm always like, dude, you need to go on stage. And it's even if you go up once and you don't like it, then you just don't do it again.
You don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but yeah, I always have those people where you're just especially patrons. I love when the patrons are you'll get off the stage and they immediately are like, I'm a comedian now too. I'm going to tell you every joke that I've ever heard online that you've probably also heard too, but I'm just going to still say them.
And then they always start with, look, I'm not racist, but
dude,
all of a sudden,
I love it.
Comedians, the audience just shows their race. I just one member, I did a show out in the country. I'm not saying all members. I had this one audience member. I was in the country, and he just dropped the most racist joke on my lap, and he was like, "That's for you, dude." I'm like, what the hell? It's so weird.
We were doing a show. Becky had us over and at the Quarry, and fucking Tony was up. Tony B. Cruz, and he was doing, his some Mexican jokes, and then the guy who went up after him, he was one of the patrons, and second time doing stand-up comedy, and the first time he ever went on stage, this is how he introduced himself. He said, "Ladies, gentlemen," and I was like, "Nice." The second time he goes up after Tony, and he goes, "Man, it's really nice that he's Mexican, so he can do all that race material. I could never do that." And then proceeds to then do race material for the entire set. Dude, it was amazing. It's almost really funny to me because I feel like there is different styles of comedy.
Yeah.
And that right there, even though he's not meaning to do it, you know what I mean? It is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious because it's this guy's trying, and it's And when I first started, dude, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah.
I was like,
no one does. No one does.
I was like going up talking about fucking shredded cheese, and I was like, I have no relationship to shredded cheese. I love shredded cheese, but like, what was happening with me back then? That's so crazy.
You find something you want to talk about to go on stage, and whatever it is you want to talk about, that's how you cope with the harsh experiences of that first year. I mean, I was talking about stuff I cringe at nowadays. Cringe. I had a joke about how like the Sandman, like he put sand in people's eyes. I'm like, how you guys feel that somebody's just pocket sanding your kid in the middle of the night? Like, you're tired? Pocket sand, dude. It's a dumb joke. It's so stupid, but it's like, as like, you know, I'll eat it on stage, but I'm like, at least I'm talking about what I want,
dude.
At least what, you know, and then eventually you learn, okay, I need to be funny on stage too.
Yeah.
It's like you grow from there.
Which is crazy because it's like typically what I hear is that like what people try to do is like they try to be funny and then they try to like find their voice with that. And like I was not funny at all when I first started. I was just like, I totally missed that part, and I was like doing shit that was weird.
No. You're doing it right.
Huh?
You were actually doing it right.
Oh.
You can't do both at the same time. It's way too hard.
Okay.
You just learn, because what will happen is you'll be telling jokes, and then this is what my friend told me, and this happened to me, and I remember the epiphany moment where it clicked, okay? And for me, it clicked in 2017 in Saginaw, Michigan. That's how well I remember it.
Whoa,
It clicked. It just clicked. Because what happens is your voice is the thing in the back of your head that goes, you should say this. You should totally say this. And party's like, I don't know if I should. And whatever that is, that's the voice.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Caution. Caution. Real quickly. Caution. If you're a person who's crazy, who has multiple voices in your head like me, you got to know which one's your comedy voice and then which one's the one that's going to get you canceled for saying a really awful joke. But no, it's the thing that, okay, so let me give you an example. I got cheated on so badly. This one girl, let me give you an idea how bad it was. Before I got married, this girl was systematic. She was a smooth operator. She knew how much time I was on stage, right?
Whoa.
And what I mean by that is, in the amount of time I'm on stage, the guy would be in that building, and they would go off, and she knew how much. If I was doing 30 minutes, guess what? It was 30 minutes of cheating.
Whoa.
Yeah, I guess spot was head, but
Whoa.
I had to think about it after a while, like, you know, a hand job maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a type 5, and she's thinking like, type 5.
Yeah, type 5.
Type 5. Let's do this.
Damn, son.
Yeah, but yeah, and I was so embarrassed to talk about that. I never wanted anybody to know that happened. So on my album, the Five Guys joke, that's the ex I'm talking about.
Wow.
I'm talking about her. You know what I mean? And when I started talking about those painful moments in my life, that's where it was clicking. That's when it was still clicking. I feel like I'm a hot mess. I feel like I don't got my life together. I feel like I'm constantly losing. And I owned it. I just like, that's it. That's what it is. I'm always losing. I took over it, and I made that pain hilarious. You know, because you gotta make it hilarious. You can't be like, go on stage like, all right, so here's what happened.
I often do get awes sometimes. So that's like one of the things that I'm trying to do is trying to like take the sharpness out of the dark, you know, the darker jokes, or like my pain, you know, trauma or whatever you want to call it, like just like past. You're just like, sometimes I'll say a joke and then be like, "Oh," and you're like, "No, don't do that."
There's a trick to that. There's a trick to that because you gotta look. So there's two tricks I know. Mike Birbiglia does one of them.
Okay.
Where if he gets an awe, he looks in the audience and he goes, "I know, I'm in the future also," and that's a laugh. And it's a funny joke. It breaks that tension. So he uses that awe to set up something else.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Another thing is I had a joke that was exactly like that, what it was I made a joke about my father drinking, and obviously that's like
mine was also a father joke.
Yeah, but what I did was I celebrated it, and people can realize that me celebrating it is wrong, but that's the humor of it, rather than me demonizing it. So it's the same joke, but it's done in a different tone. So like, because one of the bits I have now is, and I'm still working on it. Again, I'm talking about like how
Interesting.
My father, I give him the win instead of demonize him. Like he was a smart man entirely. Like he would drive drunk, but he was the king of it. He drove with a student driver sticker, so nobody pulled him over.
Dude.
Just to throw the cops off. He would walk out there and start putting up cones in the parking lot. I'm like, he's brilliant.
That's hilarious.
He's brilliant.
That's crazy though, because now that I like think about it, it's like some of the best jokes about people's parents or someone who had like a crazy like addiction or something like that. Like I feel like the best jokes that I've heard about those people are the ones that like celebrate it, like you were just saying, which is actually interesting now to like really look back and think that like about what you're saying. So how long have you been doing comedy for?
I've been doing it since so I have 2 start times.
Hell yeah.
I always say 2011 was my true start time, so now I'm on my 10th year.
Okay.
Technically. Or wait. Well, going into my 11th year. So but reality, because I was under 18, I couldn't perform everywhere I wanted to because, you know, bars had rules and stuff like that. And even though you're not going to drink, they didn't trust you. So I actually have been doing comedy since I was 15.
Oh, shoot.
Yes.
And how many sets did you have?
I would only be able to do like maybe 10 a year because what place is A going to put up a 15-year-old kid, and B, you know, they're worried about their liquor license. If I start drinking, they're going to get fined or something like that. They don't want to worry about that. So it was tough. But I had to find places that would have me, and I had to do cleaner sets when it started out because, you know, if I did a coffee house, I can, you know, do a clean set there. So I've been at it.
Were you funny?
What? I'd say I wasn't funny until. Okay, so of the chuckle from 2000, so from 2000, let's say from when I was 15 to when I was 22, I would get really good shows or really bad shows. Because I always believe when you start out in comedy, it's like a 50-50. And then
I would agree with that.
You just keep bouncing out. So maybe you bomb twice and then your good percentage goes down, but your bad percentage goes up and up and up and up and up and up because you're starting out. But as you keep going, you start doing good. And then you drive this bad percentage down. As I was mentioning, when you can kill about 95% with all your jokes, no matter what, that's when you're right. So that's what I was talking about, that 95. You know what I mean? Because, like, my buddy, the Scroll Clown, Johnny Lee Dam and the Scroll Clown are 2 people I owe my comedy career to. I owe them everything. And every piece of wisdom, I feel like I'm just quoting them half the time. So this is all them, really. But the Clown said to me, he said, when he worked at Sam Kinison, you're only as good as you are since you last bombed. How long can you go without bombing? So in that time frame, you know, it was maybe every 10 sets I would have a big bomb. But now I might have, you know, 50 shows before I bomb or 70 shows before I bomb. You know what I mean? Okay. And the bombing isn't that bad. It's just bombing more like, oh, they didn't hate me. It was just I didn't feel like I had it. Okay. So it's
actually it's a good question because that was actually going to be my next segue. Is that so? To you, what is a bomb?
So a bomb. So dying, completely dying. Everything is bad. The world comes down on you. The audience hates you. They are booing you. They are not laughing. You're hearing silverware. You know, you're hearing people paying the bill. You know, like, where is he?
The fucking cash register open.
When they wanted to pay the bill, that's when you fucked up. They want to pay that bill. That's like the worst type of bombing. After up is where it's hit and miss the entire time with them. Like you'll win them over, you'll lose them. You'll win them back over, you'll lose them. And then there's that mental bombing where you did good, but you personally didn't like what you did. Okay. You personally were like, if they knew what your caliber was, they would have hated you. But they did because a lot of people don't know sometimes what is good and what is bad. So I think for me at least, I've always found there's 3 levels of bombing. Okay. Yeah, because I talked to a bunch of people and they all have like their own different like views of bombing.
and I'm always just like very curious because like there are times where like I felt like I did pretty good, but then I like listen back to the set and I'm like, wow, there wasn't like a lot of laughs. You know what I mean? And I'm like, did I actually do that good? Like, is it hiding laughter? You know, is the speaker hiding laughter? Am I?
And that's something. That's one of the things when you go into a room, you have to. Once you perform a lot and you know each room has a personality, or when you're listening to the host, I always tell people, the host is more important than the headliner.
Yeah,
hands down. There's no debate on this. They're way more important. The reason why they're way more important, because I've seen shows go good to shit if the host can't bring it. Because the host it's that weird moment where there was no comedy and all of a sudden there is comedy. You need to warm up the audience. You got to get them wanting to have fun. You got to get them liking you. This and that. Get your jokes in there. You don't have to be the funniest person in the room. You just got to get the jokes going so that you give it off to the feature. The feature has a blast. And then the headliner, they have a blast. You know what I mean? The headliner's going to kill no matter what. Because they're coming for the headliner.
But it's based upon the mood of the crowd.
Yeah, but if you set up a weird mood, you're going to make it difficult for the headliner. I've had to see headliners dig the show out of a hole so everybody can feel good about laughing again.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I seen a show where the headliner set had to stop suddenly because a fight broke out. The show came to an abrupt end. So, funny story, okay? So, and I wasn't there when the fight happened. I was in the next room over, but I heard the fight begin.
Oh, no.
I heard it, okay? So what happened was, I guess this guy has been talking throughout the whole show and blah, 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 yeah, and he was out of control, and what happened was the headliner was doing material, but it wasn't to what that guy liked. And he gets up and was like, "You ready to go, motherfucker?" And then all of a sudden, the next table over, the woman who runs the place, and then her boyfriend. Okay, the boyfriend gets up, and the heckler's like, "The fuck you gonna do?" And I hear he uppercuts him, goes to the ground, starts kicking him under the table, kicking him, and you can hear the woman manager going, "Woman manager, yep, there it goes. I'm canceled now. All right, there we go. All right,
we don't believe
a woman manager. All right,
yeah.
Listen, my wife is in charge of me. All right, she'll heckle me. She'll cancel me. Like, cancel him. No, so she literally screams, "No, Jason, not where I work." It was the funniest thing I ever heard. "No, Jason, no, not where I work." And he's kicking him he's kicking the heckler on the table.
Damn.
But shit like that. So the room was already unsettled to begin with, and it got where. And I will tell you a funny story. Are you ready for it?
Uh-oh.
I was the guy who unsettled everything.
Oh shit! How did you do it?
So I was when I was first up. I didn't know how to use spotlights in a sense. Like spotlights, you're never supposed to do this, but I was so blinded that I couldn't see the audience. But the bar next to us was so loud, I was hearing them. I wasn't hearing laughter. So I couldn't tell where the laughter was coming from, if there was laughter. So I felt like I was dazed and confused, like I was in a Gitmo Bay.
Okay.
And that's my fault for not knowing certain aspects of the room. And this is why I always talk about know your room, know what it is. Pay attention to the host. See, I didn't pay attention to the host that was featuring. I didn't pay attention to the host, so I did not see the things I needed to see.
Yeah.
And then I opened the floor up to talking when I was on stage, and then that's what made the headliner's job difficult.
Dang.
So people disagree with me on that, but I think that's what happened, truly. But that's what. And here's the thing. There's a difference between being a middle and a feature that people need to understand. Do you know what the difference between a middle and a feature is?
No.
A feature, so a middle means there's someone in front of you. A feature means you're doing 30 minutes, but you could be going first. And on the road, that's how it is. Sometimes they send out 2 comics to a venue. And so just because you're like, I'm featuring now, yeah! You're hosting a little bit.
Yeah.
You've got to open the show and get everybody, and then get into your set.
So
30 minutes.
So a middle is still a feature. So is
A
it
middle's still featuring that does 30 minutes, but he has a host that brings him up.
okay? So a middle is a feature, but a feature is not a middle. So it's like a square rectangle.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you might be a feature on the road, but you might be still going first.
Okay.
And if you never took the time to learn how to host, you're gonna hurt everything. See, and that's the situation I was in.
Yeah, dude. I always.
And just so you know, the host of that show was somebody who was just opening the show. It was my responsibility to do the rest, and I didn't. And I was young in my career, and I made that mistake.
How early did you start getting shows?
I started getting shows. Well, okay, so it took a while.
Okay.
So my first year of really doing comedy, from starting in 2011, I was getting used a lot for free work, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it myself." So I started my own rooms. I did a paid comedy show. So what I did was, and this is good for anybody to do.
Okay.
All right. I would do. I would ask for a venue, and I worked a little cheap on myself on this. So, or sometimes I would ask for $150 to $200 for a budget for a show. Now, real quick, everybody, that is under scale. But I was doing it in town. Usually, a show is a $600 deal.
Okay.
But I was doing this because here's what I did. I would give 50 to someone to close out and do 30. I would give 25 to someone to do 15. And then I would host it. And if I had money for myself, I did. If it was a 150 show, I would not get anything. But it was fine. And then I would have 5 open mic spots. Now, the 5 open mic spots I did very specifically and very differently than how a lot of people do in this area. The week before, I put out the event page for that show, and people will have to message me. First 5 get spots.
Whoa. That's...
Book them. Make them feel like they're booked. And if they didn't show up, guess what? I didn't talk to them after that. Because here's the thing. If you don't take... Every stage that you do is important, no matter what. I don't care if you're at an open mic, you're at a comedy club, you're at a casino, you're at a concert. Every stage is important because people came to see the show. And if you treat them with disrespect because you're not at a concert show, you're at an open mic, then you miss the point of comedy in that sense. All right? If people are at an open mic and they're ready to have a good time, you perform to them like you're performing at the Funny Bone, and nothing less than that. But anyway, so I started doing those shows. And what I did was I would get headliners that were going in the middle of towns. Or, like, hey, I know you're traveling through. There's a quick spot. Do you want to do it? And eventually I got a bigger budget. I would try to offer scales. A lot of headliner scales, $250, and the feature scale is $125. So I started trying to get higher scales. When I did that, I started getting these comics to come in that were usually headliners. And why that's good is because if they can see that you can host in front of them, they might say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be in the town over tomorrow. Want to open up the show?
Dang.
Sure. And that's how you make contacts.
Who is the biggest comic that you got?
The biggest comic I ever got was, for me, one of my mentors, Johnny Lee Dam, and also Kenny Miller. Those guys do Carnival Cruises. They've been on Fox Sports. They've been on HBO. They've been on everything.
Damn.
Yeah. And they're good friends of mine. And I owe them. But and here's the thing. Because I was doing shows like that, the comedy club owner in the area came to one of my shows. And after doing a hosting set, because I hosted properly, he asked if I could open up for Tony Hinchcliffe at the club.
Did you?
Yep, I did.
Dude, hell yeah, bro.
And that was my first club gig. You know what I mean?
And so how deep into that were you? Comedy?
Right there, let's see, that was 2004, so I was 3 years in.
3 years in?
Yep, 3 years in.
Damn.
And I would say, too, because I was finally doing stuff on my own and just saying, I'm not going to wait for anybody to give me an opportunity. I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to go make it right now. Just do it. And that's what you need to do. You just got to do it. You can't, because it's tough. Because, everybody wants to have that phone ring and they're like, hey, where are you going to be? You'll get to that point.
Yeah.
You'll get to that point.
But you have to do, and this is actually, that's actually a good thing to say, because I know a lot of people, like, someone like my brother or something like that, just like people who just wait for opportunities. It's like, dude, if you're not, like, if you're trying to do rap, or if you're trying to do fucking music or comedy or art, if you're not producing anything, like, no one's gonna know who you are.
Exactly.
And if you're not like getting your name out there, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's another thing. I also get a lot of people asking me, hey, how do I get, because I work at the Funny Bone, and they're like, how do I get on the Funny Bone stage? And it's like, why are you asking me?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like, it almost makes me angry because it's like, I work there. It's not like I'm the boss of the fucking Funny Bone. It's like, I was like, if I could get you on the stage, why would I not put myself on the stage? You know what I mean? Like, why would I? What? That doesn't make any sense.
That motherfucking Eddie,
dude,
fuck me again,
dude. I know, right? It's just very funny to me, and I get it mostly from like the super new comics. Like, there are a few comics who, are doing what we're saying, where they're just not like, they're not making their opportunities. They're not going out. They're not networking. It's like, yeah, you can go like, and here's my issue, because right now I'm still like, I feel like I'm like, if there's like levels of like growing in comedy, I'm still in like level 1. So I haven't really.
I disagree.
Okay. Well,
I disagree with that.
Okay. So, well, at least in terms of, I'm not leaving the city. Okay. Or I haven't left the city a whole lot to go and start like hitting up different mics and everything.
But here's the thing: you're creating material. You're in the garnering stage.
Okay.
I mean, the levels thing. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I sometimes I get scared of hearing that stuff about levels, because it makes. I don't ever want people to think it's because you're lower or higher than a comic. You're at a different stage of your comedy career. You're creating material so that when you are ready, you will go on the road and you will kill. You're not going to go out there, do 15 minutes of bullshit material, and then come back and tell people you killed. You're going to go out there and kill, get paid, come back, and then do it again next week. That's what you're on the right path of doing. You're doing everything correctly. I just want to make sure.
Thank you.
I just did want.
I love Jesse. He's always super helpful, giving advice. He's always super wise. Yeah. I felt like this so far. This has been like fucking crazy. Like, if you're like a comic who, is newer or something like that, this would be a perfect like opportunity to get a bunch of advice, from you, because like.
And the thing is, I'm always open for advice, and I'm still learning. I'm still figuring things out.
I mean, you said you're only 11 years in. Yeah. Depending.
I'm
a
baby still. Yeah. Compared to the people I work with. I mean, I'm always. All people have to do is ask. For example, you messaged me, "Hey, would you like to do the podcast?" Yes, I would like to do the podcast,
dude. Yeah.
That's it. That's all that happened. There was no fancy like.
Yeah.
All right, we got my people talk to your people. Like, you just have to ask. You just have to ask, and that like. When I started performing at that comedy club, I asked to do more. Hey, on one of the off nights, can I do a show? Yes, you can.
Dude,
give us a proposal and we'll look over it. And that started happening. And then I would do a Thursday show, and then if I was also hosting at the time, I would host the Friday and Saturday show with it. And I got to work with a lot of cool people, and then eventually moved up to featuring. And then I got to work with like people like Kevin Farley. Let's see who else I worked with. A couple, Brooke Whalens, he's from SNL. Wow. I'm trying to think of some other people. I'm like blowing all the people. April Macy I got to work with. But yeah, a lot of cool people. I'm blowing a bunch of names right now.
No, you're good.
There's other people, but yeah, I got to work with all of them, and it's just because. Or the guy from Seinfeld, what's his name? Steve Heitner.
Oh,
the guy who plays It's Gold, Jerry. It's Gold. That guy. I got to work with him. I drove about a few hours with him in the car. Sweetest dude in the world.
Dude, that's so amazing.
Sweetest dude in the world,
So would you consider yourself a full-time comic, or do you have like a job as well?
I still have a job on the side right now, because I mean, with healthcare and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Because here's the thing. I don't go on the road during the middle of the week. So I do something in the middle of the week, and then on the weekends I go out and do my thing, and I come back.
Is it full-time or part-time?
When I go out.
Or just your job?
My job, it's full-time.
Oh, okay, sweet.
It's full-time, yeah, but I could do...
Damn, son, you do all that and still work a full-time job? Yes. That's so crazy. Because, like, right now, like, I am realizing, like, I'm just doing a podcast, open mics, and work. And I'm just like, dude, this is so difficult.
You have to make time, and you have to schedule rigidly. And sometimes you're going to hate your own schedule, but you made it.
Yeah.
You got because you have this realization that what you want to do, if you want to do it, it's a job. Just like how you have to show up at your job, and you may not want to do it some days. Sometimes in comedy, you may not want to do it that day.
I know.
Like for example, I do a radio segment for the Epic Radio Show, which they're on hiatus right now, but they're on iHeart and all that stuff. And every Saturday morning, I got to make sure I put out my segment for them. And And there's some days I'm like filming, I'm like, oh my God, this is trash. I hate what I'm doing. It's garbage. I'm turning in garbage. But I'm not the only one that feels like that. How familiar are you with the South Park and how they write their episodes?
I'm very familiar. They do in a week.
Every episode is the week of.
Yeah.
And if you watch the one special, which I highly 6 days to air, watch that. Watch that.
It's so good.
They put themselves in a tight bubble because it's do or die. They need to do this. And it's miserable, but they do it because they love it. And the episode they're talking about the entire time, they're like, oh, this is shit. This is the worst episode. This is awful. And it's the human centipede episode, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's such a good episode.
And it's like, that was the episode they were talking shit about.
You want to fuck me again?
You want to fuck me again?
Fuck me right here.
And he just gets fucking zapped.
Yeah. But that's the thing. They have to go. They got to do it.
Yeah.
So like, for example, so I got to work. Great. I got to do this. I got to do my job. Then during my lunch break, I might create content for my website, for my YouTube channel or whatever it might be. I might write jokes and stuff like that. Then I go back.
Do you have a website guy or you do it yourself?
I make my own website.
You know HTML and everything?
No, it's just Wix.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like, damn, son.
Oh, yeah, Jesse, you just went down a notch in all of our books. Yeah, but I do Wix. It's good.
You like it?
Yeah, I love Wix. It's how because I sell my comedy special on there, and I do it all kinds of different ways. So one way I do it is, you purchase it outright on the website. Number two, depending on certain websites. There's an app I'm a part of called Slasher. It's a horror movie app.
Okay.
I love horror movies. If anybody's ever noticed that about me. On there's a specific link to a specific hidden part of my website that sells people the special for a different price because I'm cool with Slasher. And then
that's dope.
And then I have business cards that I sell that have the code on it, takes them to a different link hidden in my website. So if they pay me $5, I give them the card and they have the whole special to themselves.
Oh shit! Okay.
So
yeah.
So it's really good. It's trying to find out how, because like some people do CD Baby, which is great, do that. But for me, I was like, how can I cut out the middleman? How could I? Because you look at all these comics that
do you make more money off of your website than you make off of like Amazon?
I make more money in person. Second's Amazon,
really?
Third is website. Yes, and the reason why is because how I market it. So the material I'm doing on stage right now is not on my album.
Hell yeah!
So I'm like, if you liked me tonight, I got a whole other half hour you haven't heard.
I've heard a lot of comedians talk about like a post special depression. Did you go through something like that where like you had to now I have to make all this other material? And
I went briefly through it.
Okay.
What I did to combat it was I was like, what haven't I done? What haven't I done? So I was like, all right, I want to make a bunch of horror movie shorts. I love horror movies.
Oh, shit.
Horror movies are... the reason why I like horror is because...
So you just switched up your passion for a moment? You're just like, all right, I'm going to do this for a minute.
And the reason why I did that is because horror and comedy are very, 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 very... They're
similar,
They're the same... It's the same coin, just two different sides.
We literally had Eric Basso on here, and he's a filmmaker, and he was talking about that the entire time. Is like horror is like the essentially comedy.
There's a setup. Whether it's the creepy building that's really scary or your crazy aunt that's coming over for the holidays, right? They both go down that line, right? And all of a sudden, the creepy house is filled with clown orgies, and your creepy aunt wants to kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, so like the thing that you thought was going to be funny was scary, and then the thing that wasn't scary turns out to be funny. It's like there's a setup, and then there's a payoff. You know what I mean? And that's all comedy is, and that's all horror is.
Now, is there a place that people can watch these? Or were you just doing them for yourself?
These ones I will release probably around Halloween.
Okay.
I wanted to... I filmed it once and then I filmed it again because I wanted to get... Because filming horror is really different because it's heavily about angles, heavily about stuff that obscures things. Like for example, John Carpenter's Halloween is a masterpiece in my opinion. I love that movie. That movie, when it went to the test audience, it got a meh. When he put in the score for the music, the ba-da-boo-ba-da-bum, all of a sudden everybody was way more freaked out. And the reason why is he's playing something off key on purpose. He's causing you to feel like there's something wrong and uneasy. And by adding that mood and atmosphere makes everything way more scarier. So it's like I'm learning about that stuff, and I want to. And right now I'm actually in the process of writing a feature length with my buddy John Jacobs. He's my co-host on that, the Grown Ups Table. We're working on something now.
John Jacobs. Did I just see you post a picture with him recently?
I post a bunch of pictures with him all the time for our podcast.
He got like a beard. I don't know if I know him, but I think I might know people who know him.
You do know people
like
who know
other than like you. So because I was gonna say, because I feel like when I did my comedy thing, for some odd reason I remember, or not my comedy thing, my horror film thing. When I first came to Columbus, I did like a horror film short.
He might have been a part of it.
Yeah, or at least he was a part, or he was friends with the people that I was working with, because I just for some odd reason I remember that name.
He's released a couple horror movies already, so that's how I kind of got into it. He gave me like, all right, let me show you this, because I already loved horror movies, but I never knew how to make or how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's so that was something I did to combat the post depression, but also I was excited about doing something new, because the material that's on the album is great, but it's no longer me anymore. I've grown out of it.
Okay.
I'm in a new chapter.
How long
of my
were you
life.
working on that material for?
That material was 10 years.
Hell yeah.
Which is a lot of stand-ups. Their first special is their first 10 years of material.
It's really weird. So like, I guess another question I want to ask you, because so you've been doing this material for 10 years. Obviously, you have more than just that material.
Yes.
So, like, do you have, like, I guess, different bins in your mind for, like, all right, this is, like, material that, like, I want to put on a special, and then this is just, like, you know, material that's like either city based or like, like, you know what I mean? Like, is there like a?
There is.
You know what I mean?
There is. But I put it more for, can it stand the sands of time, or can it expire? I think of it like that, because in that expire bin, I can think of location. How long will I be in that location for those jokes to work, until when I go to another city, it doesn't work, because that city's not the same. Number one. Number two, your pop culture, celebrity news, politics, all that stuff. Like those jokes, like not heavy politics, but like just kind of make goofy references. Those jokes are going to last. A lot of people focus a lot of their time on writing those jokes, and I tell people, avoid that a little bit. It's good to have them, because if you're hosting, you're kind of talking about something that's on everybody's mind. It's a great way to break the attention and get everybody laughing. You know what I mean? Talk about something, make everything about the audience. But it's that evergreen material I'm more interested in.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to, like I said, do it forwards, do it backwards, start in the middle, go to the end, and then start at the beginning and go to the middle. I want to be able to do that material anywhere, and it works. Rodney Dangerfield's a great example.
Dude, so good. So good.
Who in this world has felt like they don't get respect? Everybody. Brilliant premise. You could drop him anywhere in the world, and that premise of I get no respect will kill everyone.
Shared by everybody.
Yeah. So it's like, that's what I want. I want to create material like that. I mean, that can bridge across. Now, there's certain jokes that need more tinkering.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, like, I have a joke I did on the album that was about Tinder, right? There's two specific ways I do that joke. There's one where if it's people our age, I'll just do the joke as is. If it's people that are in their 50s, number one, they're 50. They don't give a shit about Tinder. Not a fucking shit about it. No fiddlers, fucks, nothing. However, what if you made them care? Could it be funny? Then yes. Here's how. So one of the things I do is I talk about, I have a thing I do in those certain places. Okay, now going to that bin of certain things that only work at certain places. I'm a millennial and I apologize for my generation. Yes, you should apologize. Yeah, you guys are better than us. Oh yeah, we are better than you. You got everything right. You do romance way better than us. Yeah, we do. You guys love songs and everything. And then I understand, what do? We do Tinder. Yeah, that's the problem with your generation.
Interesting.
And now they're on board. Now they want to hear
about Tinder.
Because now I am talking from a inferior, superior angle. So everything I'm saying now, they're feeding it because, I am better than you. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
So And that's the trick. That's the sometimes. So like last night I did a clean version of my comedy album last night.
Oh wow.
There's a clean version. And because the one advice I got from my buddy the clown, which by the way, if you ever see Johnny Lee Dammer, just Scroll Cloud anywhere, go see them live. They're amazing. Just Scroll Cloud, he just like a clown, but he does just regular stand up like you and me, and it's amazing. But he said that you can take a clean joke and make it dirty, but you can't take a dirty joke and make it clean.
Okay.
You know? So it's like and again, if you're gonna be a dirty comic, be the best damn dirty comic you can be. Be the one that pulls out all the stops and no one else is like you. You know, but at the same time, be weary of that.
I feel like with dirty comics and clean comics, I feel like, at least in my opinion, if you're gonna be one or the other, you have to be like extra good. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
It's like in order for a clean joke to like make me laugh, it needs to be like extra tight. You know what I mean? But dirty jokes, you can kind of get away with it being a little bit more sloppy, you know, because it's just like, oh, they're talking about, you know, disgusting shit or whatever. But
I sometimes I don't feel always that way.
Okay.
And I'm respectful.
No, yeah.
The reason why I feel like that is because if you're doing a joke that I feel like anybody can do,
okay,
then what's the creativity here? What did you do?
Yeah.
That Joe Schmo in this bar couldn't do.
Yeah. It's too expected or whatever.
Yeah. Like, it's like one of the dirtiest jokes I ever heard, and this is a funny dirty joke because it was so clever. I love it. And this one, I felt he was. I'm trying to think. I can't remember who the comic is. Now I'm all afraid. Like I think. Now I think he got canceled. I can't do his joke.
No, I can't do his joke.
But it was a good example. I'm going to do the joke. All right, he's canceled. I don't have to say he should not have done what he did. He's a piece of shit. But for the example's sake, all right?
All right.
For the example's sake, this is what he did. He said, so I was watching this pornography where this guy was eating cereal out of this girl's pussy, right? And we're watching him make the cereal, and he pours milk in there, then he puts cereal in there, and I was just looking in disgust because I'm like, who pours the milk first? But you see what I mean? Like that was his joke. Again, not my joke. That's his joke. But it's like, but you see the example.
Yeah.
It's like there was that was
he's gonna start talking about something dirty, but then he like it's still like he like
there's a truth to it.
Yeah.
There's a truth to it. Nobody does it that way, and if you see someone do that, you think they're fucking sick.
Nuts.
You're out of your mind, you know. So that's what it is. It's like if you could do something that does something that hasn't been done, you know, like Chappelle does that, or trying to think of something like any comedians do that. And again, I'm not like I said. They push the envelope. Whether you agree with them or not, they do something different that pushes the envelope in a weird way. You know, like I said, and I always tell people, comedy is three things: it's timing, intent, and what was the other thing? And knowing who the target is. Yeah, I mean, because every joke has a target, has a victim. All right. Then the second thing is, what's the intent? Are you trying to make people laugh, or are you just trying to hurt people and torpedo them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then number three is timing. You know, what's the timing? Is this a good time to do a joke? Is it a bad time to do a joke? You know, it's all these three things that you need to worry about. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, for me, like Robin Williams, I think he is, in my opinion, one of the GOATs of comedy. In my opinion. Because when he does dirty jokes, but he does them in a way like no one else has done them. You know, in no other way, and I love it. So that's my thoughts on it.
So I guess the last thing that I'll ask you about, you do a lot of improv.
Yes.
How has that always been a part of your comedy thing, or is that like a newer thing that you've been doing?
It's always been a part of it. And Bill Hicks once said, you know, when you go on stage, be funny, and then when you can't be funny, do your material. So you know, so it's like when I go on stage, I'll even to this day when I'm featuring or if I'm headlining, I'll have fun with the audience before I jump in my material. I'll talk about something that's going on. I'll have a couple jokes about them specifically because I got there early in the show and I watched them the entire time and I have fun with them. And in those moments, it's improv. And I would tell comics, do not scoff improv. I know some comics are like, oh no,
yeah,
we can't do improv. No, don't.
Dude,
you bring those two worlds together, You were unstoppable.
Somebody who I think is like so good at improv is Becky Solon.
Yeah. Oh, she's
Dude,
great. She's amazing.
Oh my God. Like every
She's
time
amazing.
she invites us to the quarry, we'll sometimes do like improv. And the one time that we did improv, I fucking sucked. Like people are coming up with like their lines or whatever. And like we were playing the, what was it? We were playing I Like My.
Yeah.
So everyone was like going up and they were like good ones. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I had one the entire time. The entire time I was up there. And I was just like, dude, this is a whole different beast.
Your brain's a muscle.
Yeah.
Your brain is a muscle that needs to know how to work that angle. When you do it so much, Ron Williams described improv as having a giant shelf in your head and pulling out the right lines and the right stops when the right time comes about and being able to pull it in that very instance. That's what real true improv is to a certain extent.
Dude, well, and that's actually crazy too, because I didn't realize that was like what crowd work was. I thought crowd work was completely improvised all the time, but then you find out that it's like typically it's like written material. They did it once, it worked really well, and then now they do it like every once in a while. The opportunity arises. It's just like, dude,
I have a happy birthday joke that I do. I do it every show, and everybody thinks it's on the spot, and it was for you specifically, and I do it for everybody.
dude.
But because, and that's why I open with that kind of stuff, because you get them on your side. You get the
Yeah.
audience going, oh my God, he noticed us, he paid attention to us, I'm ready to go. And, there was a town that I was in, there was there were trains, because it was like a big part of the Midwest where all trains go through.
Yep.
Trains surround the town. At one point for 70 minutes, you can't leave the town because there's trains everywhere.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? And I talked about it. I made a dumb joke. Oh my God, I feel like you guys live under a Christmas tree. Boom. The audience laughed. They loved it. It's a simple joke, but you paid attention to them.
Yeah.
And they felt special. Now you can go on, you can take them on the ride now. But it's like, for some comics that get right into material, like right into that material, it's almost like skipping foreplay and going up the skirt. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, warm everything up first. You know what I mean?
Ask for consent.
Ask for consent. Yes. Ask for consent. It's like, whoa, calm it down. Work up to everything. I mean, a lot of comics they'll go on stage. So I'm fucking my dead grandmother next to my dog. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like,
who are you?
It's like that's the first sentence they say, and the audience like, it's like, whoa,
That shit's so
like
funny,
warm
man.
up. How are you guys doing tonight? I mean, like, it's like I would say, like when you watch a comedy special, they're not the first comic up. They had a guy who warmed up the audience. When you watch a TV show, there's warm-up guys, and warm-up guys make a shitload of money from TV shows. Like you gotta think about it. If you do a 24 episode season and you make $2,000 an episode,
Dude, that's crazy.
yeah, it's like you're pulling 48 a year. Good for you.
Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, but my point is, it's like, and again, I lost my point. Sorry, folks.
It happens.
Just down.
Dude, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, this is a fucking great ass conversation. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, man. This is great.
So where can we find your special?
You can find it at my website at www.jessepimpinella.com. It's also on Amazon. It's also on Spotify. You can check it out there. The video is exclusively on my website. I say check out the video. Like I said, we have a lot of we had 6 camera angles and everything. I'm very Harrison Poole and Matt Onesti deserve all the credit for how cool that video looked.
Dude, shout out to those guys.
Yeah,
You guys fucking dope.
And Johnny Lee Dam, who opened the show to make that show work that night.
Hell yeah.
My mentor, that guy taught me everything comedy as well as Disgruntled Clown, all them. I owe everything to those
And what's
guys.
his name?
The Disgruntled Clown.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
have to check him out.
Hilarious.
Hell yeah.
Hilarious. You ever get a chance to go see him? Here's how cool he is. I'll say this real quick. He showed to a comedy club, did a 2-hour show. I was hosting for him. He did 2 hours, and he told the audience, if you come back tomorrow, I'll give you another 2 hours, nothing the same. And he delivered.
Whoa.
He delivered. All right? See him. See
Damn.
those guys. All those people I mentioned, see them.
Dude, hell yeah. Jesse Pimpinella, fucking love you, bro. Thanks
Love
for
you,
coming
man.
on.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
thanks for fucking listening,
you.
watching, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right.